All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where a respected journalist from boxing scene has communicated that he had heard that Errol Spence Jr., or at least Terence Crawford's team, believe that Errol Spence Jr. will not exercise the rematch between himself and Errol Spence Jr. While that is certainly not set in stone, it is obviously a very real possibility. Let's talk about what Jake Donovan had to say on AM Sports podcast in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where we have some information that came out the other day, or yesterday, I do believe, out of the mouth of the editor for Boxing Scene. It's the best boxing website for news, where you have like actual journalists writing boxing news. I think it is probably the best one that there is in boxing. BoxingScene.com was interviewed by Angry Man Sports Podcast. Shout out to Greg of Angry Man Sports Podcast, who had Jake Donovan on their live stream and talked about what the word was about whether or not Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford were going to rematch each other. As you know, there was a question about when this decision had to be made. They discussed that, so let's go through that, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. That is how we're able to continue to do the work on the channel. Can't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for being so supportive. In this video, I'm going to dedicate it to my guy, Frequent Flyer, big time Devin Haney fan. My guy, Chillville, big time Terence Crawford fan. We have all kind of fans that come by the live stream and in the chat. Even if you don't think I like a particular fighter, and 9 times out of 10 you're wrong about it, I'll admit it with Dillian White. Other than that, I ain't trying to hear it. However, everybody's welcome to the discussion as long as you are polite. But thank you guys so much for your continued support of the channel. But let's get into this, because this is something that the rest of the year in boxing hinges on. And that is, what is Errol Spence Jr. going to decide to do after he had lost to Terence Crawford on July 29th? He lost on July 29th in a very one-sided fight to Terence Crawford, and an unexpectedly one-sided fight with Terence Crawford. And as a result, there's a lot of people saying, man, maybe you shouldn't fight him again right away. Other people saying, man, maybe you shouldn't fight him again at all. Other people saying, maybe you should not fight at all. And then other people saying, look, man, if something's wrong with you, get back in there and do it again, man. That's life. You fall down, you get up, you push through, and you give it your best effort. All of those answers, all of those requests really are not going to mean anything, because it's up to Errol Spence Jr. to decide what he's going to do. And only Errol really knows, and his camp really knows what's going on with him, right? Not been particularly verbal about it, other than some messages that I got from from somebody associated with his camp that said, look, man, Errol's going to be good, and he's a different animal. You know that he's a different animal. Don't worry, man. Trust me, we coming back. Now, that was said to me immediately after the fight, which has been a month ago. So do not know whether or not that stays consistent. And also, that's not directly out of the mouth of Errol Spence Jr. But in this interview that took place with Jake Donovan said that he had heard that from people on Terence Crawford's side, that Terence Crawford does not believe, or their camp doesn't believe, that Errol Spence Jr. is going to exercise the rematch. Now, I don't know whether that really means anything, because they obviously going to believe they're going to do the same thing to Errol again. And why would you do that? Also, Terence Crawford's camp is not, let me put it, how can I say it this way? If it was Terence Crawford in the exact same situation, Terence Crawford probably wouldn't take the fight again. There's been fights that Terence Crawford didn't want to take when he thinks that he's going to win the fight, right? So they are clearly a little bit more strategic as far as how they want to match Terence Crawford up and what they think is smart moves, where Errol Spence Jr. is more the type of guy, and their camps are more the type of guy, clearly, that are like, look, man, we're about to beat this dude up. We're going to get paid either way, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, Jake Donovan, for his part, said that he thought that the fight would most likely get done. And my thought on it is that the fight will most likely get done. Because Errol Spence Jr. is in a bit of a catch. He's not, I wouldn't call it a catch in a rock in a hard place or a catch-22, because on one side of it, he is going to get a lot of money for this rematch. And the rematch is the biggest fight that either Terence Crawford or him have. Now, Terence Crawford is out there talking about a fight with him, and Canelo is the biggest fight in boxing by far. I don't know about that, man. I don't know, but it's a big fight because Canelo's in it. And Terence Crawford's an excellent, excellent fighter. And his name has definitely got a lot more coverage heading into it. And it could be a very good fight as far as the ability to promote it. But there's a big if in that. And the big if is whether or not Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Jermell Charlo. And the whole discussion taking place before the Jermell Charlo fight, I would slow the roll on that. I would slow my roll if I was Canelo talking about that, because that is not a foregone conclusion that he's going to get past Jermell Charlo. And because Jermell Charlo is a much better fighter than people give him credit for. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect of it is whether or not Canelo, who says, yeah, why not, I'll do that, whether or not he's going to actually do it. That Canelo Alvarez has said that about other fights. Yeah, I'd fight him. Why not? Right? However, going up to 168 pounds, and the other issue with that fight is that you got guys like David Benavidez. David Benavidez is right there. And at this point in time, look, man, I can understand Canelo Alvarez fighting. What did he beat? He beat Caleb Plant to get all the belts. After that, he fought Bivol. He fought Bivol at 168. Then he came back and he fought two voluntaries in Gennady Golovkin, John Ryder, and now Charlo. Next fight for him should be a mandatory title defense against whichever one of those guys that they name. No doubt about it. It should be that, because that's three. That would be Terence Crawford would be the fourth voluntary fight. At that point in time, you can start having guys say, nah, man, you need to go ahead and fight this one first. But anyway it goes, I think that's kind of the holdups to him doing that type of scenario. And as far as the catch-22 with Errol has that payday to get himself. If he's going to go to 154 pounds and then kind of building up to the belts in that scenario may be a little bit more difficult situation for him as far as monetarily. And as long as he goes back and he has a good performance against Terence Crawford, which I wouldn't count out, shoot, that may, or beat him, which I wouldn't count out either. And because I'm telling you, I don't count out anybody winning any fight. It's boxing like that. But anyway, we'll find out what takes place. That's kind of the update that was out there. So I wanted to talk about it. You can definitely see the original audio on that over on Angry Man Sports Podcast. And with that, I'm out. Deuce.